Let's define the problem. What's happening when we look at the cost position of the project? How much money did we spend at a certain time in the project, and what is our cost position relative to the S-curve? Can we be optimistic when the cost is below the S-curve? Do we have to be pessimistic when the cost is above the S-curve? Or what happened with the optimism? What is the lesson we can learn from past projects? When we are below the estimate, below the project baseline, or in the limit case we're on the project baseline, the management would typically accept this as a great position, as a great achievement by the project manager, because you are spending less money than you planned. A very nice idea. Everybody is optimistic, and we have seen that in the past with many projects. On the other hand, when the actual cost, the money spent, would be above the project baseline, there would be a lot of pessimism. People would not be happy because you are spending more than what you really planned. This would be considered as being work of a bad project manager. Now, is this true? What is wrong here? Is there something we forgot? When we look at the optimism, when we look at the optimistic position which we had in the first slide, the practical experience, however, showed that although at a certain moment we were below the budget, that finally at the end we ended up with a project which was above budget, in some cases so far above budget that the expenditure could never be recuperated by the savings, by the cash flows that the project would bring once it is completed. Schedules were typically managed through the Gantt chart, the budget with the budget curve. They were not linked to each other. There was no link between the two of them. Many projects were continued because the people saw that the cost was below the budget. They didn't look at the schedule. What was happening with the schedule? What was happening with the work, with the deliverables that were created? Project continued, and at the end of the project, people realized that their project in fact was doomed. They didn't realize they were overspending, that their budget would be exceeded in a way that the project financial status would never recuperate the net present value, the internal rate of return, and the payback time of the project were so bad that in fact the project should have been killed long before. They didn't do it because they didn't interpret the information in the correct way. So let's have a look what we have to do to avoid problems like this. We will talk about that in the next sessions. So see you there, and thank you very much.